Nobody likes a jerk that goes around telling people, I told you so, well, but I did try to give you a general warning about the division launching in such a way where it's going to have network issues and things like that. Therefore, you weren't stuck with a fucking game and with buyer's remorse because you couldn't play the motherfucker at the day of release. Now, look, I'm only talking about the PC version in this particular scenario. I'm not sure how the console versions are doing. I hope they're doing well. They should be, considering that we are talking about Ubisoft here, not some little indie dev team that can only afford a couple of servers. Okay? And when you combine that with elements such as online life support, is what I like to call it, where this game you need to have constant internet connection or you're not going to be able to play it. I mean, there is no such thing as playing offline mode. Well, you can see how this is certainly a recipe for fucking disaster. Especially with the idea that as consumers within this whole fucking video game thing in general, we don't have many protections. Not many sectors in business where companies can get away with practices like this. More specifically, selling a consumer a product that does not work at the time of purchase, okay, at the time of release. It's either broken, it's either missing core components, things like that. Other companies could just not get away with doing this once, never mind time and time again. Here's a simple question. If a company sold you something that did not work when you bought it, would you keep going back to that company and continuing to buy things from that company? The answer is likely no. So the question is, why do we keep going back for more when it comes to video games? One obvious answer is that gaming can be very addictive. I myself am hooked on games, for lack of better words. I use it as an escape here and there. I generally tend to feel like that I can't live without fucking video games. I'm just being honest with you. As nerdy, as fucking retarded as that sounds, I have to just keep it real. The bigger problem is that the definition of broken within the video game industry is a very loose definition. Okay, there are no clear defining things when it comes to a guideline, something you can go to in terms of a refund. The whole system is jacked. Okay, the whole system is messed up. I mean, if you're a company, this is a beautiful fucking thing. You can pretty much get away with anything. You have an all access pass to step all over your customers, knowing that the majority of them are going to be coming back regardless of how you sell your product. Whether it's chopping it up into little pieces, the game not working at day one, they know we're going to come back. And these companies are more comfortable doing it time and time again because you have a large amount of people out there that are our peers, that are also consumers, that defend them. Okay? Defend the living shit out of these companies after they continue to pull the fucking wool over our eyes, when they continue to fucking screw us and bend us over backwards. People are defending them non-stop, around the fucking clock, as if they're getting paid for it. And although effectively there are many elements to consider, this is a multifaceted thing when it comes to how they continually get away with this time and time again. The main root, the main source of all evil is that we keep contributing to this practice. We keep going in our pockets. We keep throwing money at them. We keep pre-ordering their games. But here's the good news. As a consumer, you have all the power in the world and the ultimate say-so moving forward in respect to what happens from here. Okay, you will ultimately dictate everything. And I will say one thing. The moment you start telling them to fuck off, that we don't trust you anymore, prove us different, okay, start releasing games that work day one, well, we're not going to pre-order your shit, we're not going to buy your shit. It's that simple. As much as I would love to tell you that, hey, you know what, let's just wait this out, hopefully they'll turn over a new leaf, that's not likely to happen. This is the only fix. Okay, and this will resonate with Ubisoft and companies like them because it's going to hit them directly where it matters. And that's right in the fucking nuts. Hit them right in the nutsack, which is essentially the fucking financial ecosystem. Once we start rattling that cage, well, let's just say there's a trickle-down effect. Shareholders start to get uneasy. They start to get worried, and more importantly, they start to complain because investors aren't in this thing to lose money, and that's when they'll demand Ubisoft to make some changes. So while you think we can make that demand, we don't have that power. I mean, we don't have that kind of luxury where we can just run around telling them, hey, please stop, just don't do this anymore, and they're going to listen. Ain't happening. But we can demand them without saying a fucking word. And by the way, you do this is simply do not reach in your pocket. And the psychological aspect to that is a lot of people think, well, what's my purchase going to really mean in the whole scheme of things? Is it going to really make a difference? The answer is yes. The answer is absolutely. But they would love you to think otherwise. They would love you to keep buying into this nonsense that you do not matter, that you're insignificant, your purchase is insignificant, it's not going to impact anything. It's that very illusion that discourages us from actually doing anything, that our pre-orders don't make a difference, that our decisions don't make a difference, because it's just one fucking sale, therefore fuck it, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy the fucking game. That's what they want. They also want us to be constantly at each other's throats because they understand that once we start to think and act collectively, well, they're in fucking trouble. And being in trouble, what I mean by that is that, hey, they're going to have to do what many other quality, respectable companies do every day by default, and that is staying honest, keeping on their toes, understanding that if they make a mistake, they're going to be held accountable and there's going to be consequences. But because in this video game fucking industry, that isn't a thing. There are no fucking consequences. Well, you can see how this is a fucked up place when it comes to the business side of things. There are no fucking boundaries, okay? The game is rigged. And if that isn't bad enough, these publishers continue to move the fucking goalposts. I have made videos on this before and how it's going to get worse, and I have a timeline per se put together, and I can see it getting worse, and I promise you it will indeed get fucking worse if you don't do something about it. Okay, so I'm just going to end with this. For you jack-offs that are going around on this fucking crusade, on this campaign against anybody that leaves a negative review for The Division on Steam because they can't play their fucking game, well, why do you give a shit? Why is it any of your fucking concern? If you're enjoying the game like you say you are, why do you care if they're leaving negative reviews? How on God's earth is that affecting your game and your fucking experience? Why do you give a shit? Why aren't you playing your game if you're enjoying it so much, and if the servers are working flawlessly for you? In my opinion, I don't want to hear this fucking bullshit that it's abuse of the review system. Since we don't have many crutches, since we don't have many fucking defense systems, it's the best way to alert everybody that, hey, there's a problem here. Alert our fellow peers, because we're all in this together, whether you like to believe that or not, to give them a heads up that something is fucking wrong, and give that heads up in real fucking time. I want you people to continue to please hammering on that negative review button. It's one of the only real-time countermeasures that we have that's effective at letting our peers know that there's a problem, giving them that information, therefore they can make an informed decision, ultimately avoiding this disaster altogether. I understand, some of you are having a fucking fantastic time with this game, no issues at all. I get that, but there are plenty of people that do have issues. Well, just wait for mainstream media or bigger YouTubers to cover the story. Let me give you a tip. These mainstream media outlets, they have this relationship with these publishers where a lot of their revenue comes from direct advertisement for these companies, things like that, okay? They're in no hurry to cover this kind of a thing. They're hoping it's going to blow over, and the only time they're actually going to step up and cover it is when it kind of seems suspicious why they're not covering it, because a lot of people are talking about it. And as far as your favorite YouTuber covering this story, well, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the past couple of years, these publishers have been making an infiltration, for lack of better words, when it comes to these YouTubers and putting money into their bank accounts to promote their shit. None of them are in a hurry to cover this as well. So if you're going to be waiting on information like that from sources that you consider credible, well, you're going to be waiting a long time, or you're going to get that information too late, and you're going to have a fucking game that doesn't work. And you're going to be spending your day looking at Steam forums, looking at fucking the Twitter feed, hoping for updates so you can play the fucking game that you paid a premium price tag for. How do I know? Because I've been there and I've done that. It's 2016. We're paying premium price tags here. This is a AAA fucking game we're talking about. And I can't believe I'm making yet another fucking video. And I'm going to continue making them as long as this is continuing to be a thing. What bothers me more than anything are you assholes that are my peers. You're in my community that are out there defending these corporations as if you have some sort of stake involved, while you're making an uphill battle Okay, for the rest of us that want something to give, that want something to change, are making it really fucking hard. So please stop. I'm just begging you, please. Go away. I mean, it's ridiculous. You're doing all that damage control and PR for them. They don't have to hire teams anymore to do that. You're doing it free of charge because you're an idiot. And you have nothing better to do. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry to be using words like idiot and fucking asshole, but I am so frustrated that here we are again. This kind of a thing happens too fucking much, and I want something to change. And not for myself, I'm at the tail end of my gaming thing. I want something to change for the younger generation so they don't have to deal with this fucking bullshit, this nonsense that's going to continue to get fucking worse. That's all I got. Until next time, be safe and stay out of trouble. Love you all.